So growing up in New York City, I always noticed this super strange thing. It could be freezing outside, and yet it'd be so hot in my apartment that I'd have to literally open the windows. And so one day I decided to look into it and try to figure it out, and what I found was a super interesting story that actually weirdly goes back to the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918. So back then they figured out what we figured out during COVID, which is fresh air means less transmission of disease. And so for over 50 years, building designers actually designed buildings to encourage people to keep their windows open and let in fresh air. How did they do this? Really simply, they just turned the heating systems on at the beginning of the fall and left them on through the end of winter. And this is how it worked for a really long time until the 1970s. In the 1970s, for the first time ever, oil became really expensive. And so somebody came up with this genius idea. They invented what's known as an outdoor reset control that would take a thermometer and a timer and would run the heating system less when it was warm outside and more when it was cold outside. So this was a huge revolution. It reduced energy usage by over 50% in buildings and made them a lot less overheated. But it didn't entirely solve the problem. Imagine trying to heat a single apartment to the perfect temperature without actually knowing the temperature indoors. And then imagine trying to do that for 100 apartments at once and not knowing the temperature inside any of them. And because we never want anybody to be cold, we always overshoot. Oh well, we'll all open the windows, right? So we've been stuck with this really outdated, inefficient mode of running buildings. The good news is technology has evolved, and now we can run heating systems off the indoor temperatures. The awesome part about this is not only do you make apartments more comfortable, but you actually make them save even more energy, which is kind of a win-win for everybody.